Well, our hedgehogs and our snakes have been resting and proving, and they are now ready to be prepared for the oven. And you might hear in the background the gentle hum of the fan oven as it heats up, ready to take our bread and turn it into something golden and lovely and tasty to eat. What we're going to do at this point in the process is we're going to create an egg wash, and the residents or participants are going to help us with that. And then they are going to use some scissors to create some spikes and scales on their shapes. And we are also going to put some eyes in, and we're going to give people the choice of different sprinkles that they can use to decorate their sweet bun shapes. So this is another opportunity for people to use their coordination, to use their muscles in different ways, and to have some fun as well. So we're going to break an egg into a jar, and we're going to do it in a jar because we're going to give people the opportunity to take part in creating the egg wash. So we have our egg. We're going to just put a little splash of water in here, just to water it down a little bit. And we're going to put a pinch of salt in as well for flavour. Then we're going to put the lid on our jar. Make sure it's nice and tight. They do have a tendency to leak a little bit, but that's all part of the fun. And then we're going to ask the residents in turn to give the jar a really good shake. And this can be quite a challenge. You know, people, they're having to really give it to break the yolk sometimes. It can be quite a... And sometimes some of the residents get really into it and shake and shake and shake, and others are a little bit more timid. If you've got a clip box or some other container, then you could use that. But go round the group if you've got a group, rather than just one resident, and just get them to take it in turns. There we go. Right, so if we take the lid off here, we can see that it's nicely shaken. So no whisks needed or anything like that. Okay, so we now have our shapes. Here we are. And we've got our hedgehogs with a slightly pointed snout, and we have our snakes with a slightly pointed end as well. And we're going to create these into really lifelike critters. Okay, so the first thing that we get our residents to do, our participants, is to do a little bit of egg washing. And this is lovely because you will find that a lot of people are very gentle and very meticulous as well. I've been amazed at how meticulous the people that I've worked with during this project have been when they're given a task such as this. So basically you need to encourage them to just very gently paint their shape. Slipping over a little bit. And you might want to point out that the slightly pointed end is the head of the hedgehog, but it doesn't matter. If they want to make that end the hedgehog's head, then let that be. It's not really important. We'll do both of these hedgehogs to start with. Just to encourage the residents, the participants, not to overdo it with the egg wash. They don't want it absolutely soaked. Some people get a little bit carried away. The next thing that they're going to do is they're going to take a raisin each in each hand, and they need to give their hedgehog some eyes. And they need to really press down, and some people again can be quite timid in doing this. So you really want to encourage them, because once it goes in the oven bloom of the dough finally having its last rise might pop the raisins out, and you can end up with raisins rolling around all over the place and no eyes in your hedgehogs. So you need to encourage the residents to really press their raisins right in so that they've got nice eyes. There we go. And already they're starting to have quite a lot of character to them. The next stage of the process is snipping some spikes. And some residents, some participants will go crazy with this and will give loads of spikes and spikes everywhere, and it will be quite imaginative. Others might be a little bit more reserved. Let them do their own thing. And basically all they need to do is quite bravely just snip some spikes in their hedgehogs. Do that again. It can be quite scary because you've got this nice puffy dough, and I can understand that people will think, oh, and we've got a bubble coming up here. People will think, oh, if I do this, then the whole thing's going to collapse. But actually, it's absolutely fine. So there we have our spiky hedgehogs. And the last thing that we want people to do, and to give them some choice, I've got a couple of things here, and you can get lots of different sprinkles in the supermarkets. So this is my choice, and I've got some hundreds and thousands, and I've got some lovely white sugar nibs as well. So I'm just going to, and again, people can be quite meticulous and take their time. And it's all about giving people the opportunity to take their time and to be quite mindful in the way that they approach the tasks that you're asking them to do. There we go. And I'm just going to put sugar nibs on this one. Well, I fancy just a white sugar nib hedgehog here. There we go. So we've got our hedgehogs, and then we want to just do our snakes, and it's the same thing. So we have got some egg wash. We're just going to paint our snakes. I don't know what type of snakes these are. We did turtles just earlier this week before I came here to film, and one of the residents at the place we were working at was able to tell us all about different types of turtles because he was originally from Montserrat. So you'll be amazed at the kind of conversations that this sort of activity can initiate, and memories as well that it can just trigger in people. And smiles as well. So there we've got some eyes, and again we're going to ask people to create some scales. So again, how they go about this is there's no rule. There's no rule. You know, they can do what they want to do. It's their bread, it's their treat. I'm just going to be quite uniform with my scales, and again I'm going to give them a little bit of colour. I don't know what type of snake this is. It's a hundreds and thousands snake. There we go. Oh, it certainly brings back memories of my childhood, putting hundreds and thousands on my bread. if you have a little bit, because the egg wash does dry a little bit, and if the sprinkles are falling off, then just dab a little bit more egg wash on. And we're going to go for now, if you do buy different sprinkles, and they're not ones like these that I've used in the video, then you might want to oven test them first. I have had the experience of some not doing that, and some sprinkles just melting all over the bread. It was very colourful, but perhaps not exactly what we were expecting. And again, this is an opportunity for people to talk about memories of what they used to do when they were kids, to reminisce a little bit about their favourite foods, about their favourite breads, about cakes, about cooking in general, about food as well, and talk about things that used to happen with their families at lunchtimes and at dinners. A whole manner of conversations can be triggered by just doing simple activities such as this. The power of bread to really make people feel good and to remember things is quite unique, I think. So we're just going to pop these straight in the oven, and hopefully they'll be ready quite soon.